Tell you better can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book. One in the kitchen cause you and them no look. You better cook.
Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. In this episode we're gonna cover how to make pork chop pilau. Yes, I've made pilau a lot of ways, but I've been experimenting lately with different meats. So in this instance I was able to cut up some pork chops and I achieved this result. So here goes. Join me for yet another adventure. Enjoy! Hey everyone, on today's menu I'm going to be making, I have some pork chops here. I'm going to be making a pork chop pilau. Yes, you heard it correctly, a pork chop pilau. So what I'm going to do, my first steps are just rinse the meat with vinegar. And now I'm going to be chopping this up and I'm going to season it next. I'll show you what I'll be seasoning it with. Season the pork chops, I'm going to be using half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm not going to be using the browning till the stage of actual cooking, so we'll take that out of the equation. I have some chicken base seasoning. I'm going to be using about a tablespoon of that. Some chili flakes, half a teaspoon, parsley, quarter teaspoon, onion powder and garlic powder, half teaspoons, and minced garlic and ginger, quarter teaspoon of each. Ingredients you're going to need some coconut milk. You're going to need some green peas / Congo peas, which we call pigeon peas in Trinidad. You're also going to need some browning. I'm going to be using a bit of this to cook the pilau and a bit of it to season the meat. This is about 7 or 8 strings of them, 1 onion and 1 carrot. Yeah, so I'll show you when and how I use these ingredients. So here I chose to show you a fast-forwarded version of me prepping the meat. So I'm here just chopping it up into nice portion pieces and taking it off the major bone. There's some smaller bones that are able to be cut up and put in there, hence the reason I'm using the Chinese chopper. So yeah, I'm just in the process of getting this meat chopped up and ready to be seasoned. We're going to go into the seasoning stage next. So all the meat has been cut up nicely and portioned well. So here I'm going to introduce some seasoning. This is the coriander, it's about 4 strands of it going in there. I'm also going to be cutting up, putting in some garlic, that's half a teaspoon of ginger, 2 tablespoons of chicken base, quarter teaspoon of parsley flakes, black pepper, half a teaspoon, onion and garlic powder, quarter teaspoon each, and a dash of lemon juice. That's about a tablespoon there. And I just mix it all in there, get those flavors integrated. I don't know if you saw the part where I put the browning in. I'm also going to put in some onion here. So I'm going to be cutting half of the onion up and I'm going to be adding that to the meat as well. So finely minced and diced, and I'm going to be putting that half of it right on into the seasoning here right now. Yeah, so that's how it's done there. I'm just about getting ready to add the browning here. So at this point I put 1 teaspoon of browning and I mix that in as well into the meat. Getting that meat nice and seasoned. It's flavored pretty nicely at this point. So here we have the pork chop that's been cut up and seasoned. Took off about 75% of the bone and I did cut some of it up to go in there. So the next step would be to get your stove on and to put your oil in there, and I'll show you what I'm doing next. So I have my fire on a medium-high setting and I have 3 tablespoons of oil in here right now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be putting the meat right into here. Mind you, I did put a touch of browning already, so there isn't anything else going in here but the meat. So we're gonna put our meat in. So we just poured it into the hot oil, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it a nice little stir. We're gonna give this a stir. So we're not going to be adding anything to this pot. After you gave it a good little mix like that, you're going to cover it down. And you're going to adjust your fire from medium high to medium. And you're going to set a timer if you'd like. I usually check it every 5 minutes, but I'll set a 10-minute timer so that it doesn't do more than... While you're waiting that 10 minutes, now is a good time to cut up the rest of your vegetables. So I cut up the other half of my onion, the other 4 twigs of coriander, and the 1 carrot. So it's all cut up and ready to go and waiting. The next thing I can probably prep is my coconut milk. So I'll give it a shake. Now for the cooking of this pilau, I'm not going to be using more than a half cup. So this is a half cup measurement here in front of me. The thing that I usually do is I usually pour the rest into ice cube trays and I use it when I cook. So I'll show you what that looks like. I just kind of pour the rest in there and let it freeze for when I need it. Yeah, so this particular ice tray has a lid, a cover, and I'm gonna be freezing this. And as I go for future meals, if I need any coconut milk, So our 10-minute timer is going off. I just turned it off there. We're just gonna uncover this. And we're gonna be checking on our pork at this point to see how it's doing. Like you see, it's developed its own water. We didn't put any water whatsoever in this dish. Nothing whatsoever yet. This is just the pork making its own liquid. So yeah. So that was just a reminder that 10 minutes. At this point, I like to put in a touch of or half cup of coconut milk. This is half cup. We're gonna put in 1/3 of this half cup. So not even half, just before half. So 1/3, okay? So the reason for doing that is because I find the coconut milk helps soften and tenderize the meat and helps it to cook. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disperse that coconut milk throughout, and then I'm gonna set another 10-minute timer. So the second timer of 10 minutes went off. It's actually been 15 minutes, so it's 25 minutes so far of cook time, which is usually good for pork chops. However, what I'm gonna do now, this being that we didn't add any water or anything except for the coconut milk, as you can see the water is disappearing and the pork seems to have taken in all the flavor that there is. So now's a good time to put on your hot water and get that ready, because that's going. So it's been about 30 minutes of cook time on medium fire, and I have my hot water, 2 cups of hot water in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 1 cup. See if that covers my meat. That's exactly 1 cup in there right now. And give it a stir. I'm actually gonna put the other. So to that, I'm gonna be adding, like I said, I used 1/3 before. I'm gonna leave back 1/3 in this half cup here for the very last part of it. So that's like 1/3 of a half cup left. So we're leaving that back for the end. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of chicken base seasoning. We're also going to be adding our Congo peas. I had them drained and rinsed under water, just regular tap water. So we're going to put the 2 cans of our peas in there right now. Put in all of our carrots, and we're going to put in the half of onion that we had here. We're going to put in half of that into it, preferably the chunkier pieces, the pieces that aren't quite grinded. You can leave the finer ones for later on, but the bigger pieces of it, you can put them in there now. And also half of your coriander. We're also going to be hitting it with 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes. This part is optional. I mean, I do like a bit of that flavor. Instead, I would usually put a hot pepper, but I like to actually put a bit of the heat like that in there as well. So yeah, so at this point, we're going to give this a nice stir. And when this is, we're going to put on our timer for another 10 minutes for this to simmer. And then the next step, we'll add a bit of browning and our rice. So it's been a total, my 10-minute timer just went off. So it's an important thing that you need to do right now is you need to turn your fire all the way down to low, right? So you add your 1 tablespoon of browning and you give it a mix. And based on the color of the sauce, because that's going to be the judgment for your rice, you know, the color of your rice. Yeah, so we're going to add that last half a tablespoon. So the next step would be to add your rice, your rinsed rice. I have 2 cups here that I'm adding to this. And then I'm going to give it a mix to incorporate. At this point, I add the rest of my seasoning as well. So the leftover onion, the leftover coriander, and we're giving a nice stir. And then we're gonna set a timer for 25 minutes, and we are not gonna touch it after that. So yeah, so I've given everything a nice stir. I'm comfortable with the amount of, you know, with this measurement, it's gonna be fine. So I'm just trying to make this pot as even as possible with the water and with the rice and everything, because I'm not gonna be touching this for 25 minutes. So I'm gonna set a timer for 25 minutes, and I'm gonna cover this pot and leave it alone. I forget, there was like a 1/3 of the half cup left of coconut milk, so I just wanted to put that in before we forgot about it. So I'm just gonna give it one more mix because of that, and we're gonna cover it back down and leave it be for the 25 minutes to steam. I'm not the type that likes to mix my pilau over and over, so I just like to settle the pot, make sure everything's submerged nicely, and then I cover and leave. So my 25-minute timer just went off. I'm going to, as you can see, the rice is steamed really nicely. I find when you don't disturb it, it remains nice and grainy, and you know. So yeah. So just for viewing purposes, I'm gonna be stirring up half of this just to show you. There's nothing stuck on the bottom. I haven't even gotten to the bottom yet, but I can just tell. So yeah, let me just try and show you. And it's dried out completely at that time, in that time span, you see. So there's nothing burned down there, you know, and it's super grainy all the way through. So yeah, that's how we accomplished this meal. So yeah, you guys, this is exactly how I achieved this pork chop pilau. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope you are confident in trying this out. Believe me when I say it tastes amazing, and it would be great on your palate as well. Enjoy, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book.